Welcome to the next episode of Dr. Kamini Rao's Masterclass.
And today what I am is because of the doctors and particularly your husband who took care of me when I was having a heart problem about 30 years ago, and that I am still able to do it and could achieve certain things is because of the doctors. And my pranams to all of you, and I wish and pray that your service should extend to next and more and more generations. Taxation subject is a very fascinating one, and you could make your name and you could do a lot of things, particularly if you are passionate about a particular subject.
How was he going to get that subsidy for the common man then?
Thing. See, basically that's how it is. So he killed that business indirectly, and liquor company, we have sold 54% stake in that company, liquor company, to Diageo, which is the number one company in the world, for 18,000 crores.
During your practicing days, and of course you're practicing now as well, you must have had a lot of interesting cases where it was really interpreting tax laws is an art in itself. And I find that when you're interpreting tax laws, law is saying something, interpretation is something else altogether. So the public is sometimes very confused, and you've got enough of kind of humor in that. So can you enumerate a few of that?
Yeah, in fact, I would only say one of the most attractive piece in this income tax law is it has got a lot of humor inbuilt in it.
Nobody can believe that income tax can be humorous.
Income tax is full of humor. In fact, that is what it is. You have to really understand the subject. Okay, then only you will understand the beauty of it. The law is enacted in English language, or rather crafted in English language. So people have to find some new way of what is the law to be expressed, in what way it has to be expressed. But again, in income tax, we always say only one thing: try anything once. Try any idea. So try anything once is one of the important mantra in our days. Now you take your example. See, one of the person, he took he was enjoying, he was continuously working. He was retiring at the age of 58. He had, as per the policy of the company, he can accumulate leave for 6 months. He accumulated the leave. He can encash at the time of retirement. He did not take a leave, he encashed. Encash means 6 months salary was given to him in cash. So immediately the employer, under the law, the employer has to deduct tax at source on every income falling under the head salaries. It is not the duty of the employee, to pay the tax on his income. If it is salary income, the responsibility shifts to the employer.
That is the TDS.
TDS. So the TDS has to be done. So the employer in this case had deducted tax at source on the leave encashment portion. That assessee went to the court, or rather went to the tribunal. He said that, look, I have foregone my leave. I could have happily taken the leave, and I could have gone abroad. I could have done a lot of things, but I did a personal sacrifice, and I collected the cash equivalent. 6 months pay I got. So I am retiring, so it should be tax exempt. So the government of India did not agree initially, but then the income tax tribunal said, yes, he has made a sacrifice, and it is because of his sacrifice he got this money, and therefore we say that it is tax exempt. Then the government of India said, okay, fine, this is a very good point. So let us extend it further. We'll give concession to everybody, every employee. Fine. So the law was enacted like that. Now they asked one IAS officer in the Ministry of Finance to enact the law, draft the law. That man immediately started thinking, how much he will get if he retires now. So he said that, look, it will work out to 79,120 rupees, 79,120. So he enacted a law and said, leave encashment at the time of retirement will be tax exempt. subject to a maximum of rupees 79,120.
Also, he actually put himself
So
into that,
he wanted to have his salary as the benchmark for the entire country.
which is very unfortunate actually.
No, but anyway, now the law has been increased to 3 lakhs.
3 lakhs.
3 lakhs. But the point of the issue is that's how the laws are enacted. But the main point is you have to try anything once. So you have to try. As I told you, earlier, for example, again, for business people, the guest house, which is a very, very fascinating subject. You see, factories are put up in remote places. So how do you go? Where do you stay? Like a sugar factory. So 200 acres of farmland is assigned to a particular sugar factory. I was working in a sugar factory in Kotaris, attached to that. So the sugar factory, immediately as soon as the sugar cane is cut, within 48 hours it should reach the factory for crushing. Now, what do you do? So where do you people go and stay? And when the bullock cart, the sugarcane farmer brings the sugar cane to the factory, first immediate courtesy is you have to provide him food. You have to give him some place.
Absolutely.
So therefore all these things are done in a matter of course. But the government of India, because of looking at it, they said that look, guest house expenditure is nothing but a farce. People are spending their personal, for all their personal things, needs, even the directors and all that, they are using this and camouflaging it as a guest house expenditure. They said all guest house expenditure is not tax deductible.
Which is very unfortunate.
So they enacted the law like that. So what do you do? Now how do you come out of this situation? So one man thought a different thing. So he said, I don't have any guest house expenditure. He was a coffee estate guy. He said, when you travel to a coffee estate, you go and stay only in manager's house. Because 2 rooms in the manager's bungalow, like from the British days, is allocated to guests. So he said, it is not a guest house, it is a rest house. So he called it as a rest house. He said rest house expenditure is not, guest house expenditure, and therefore it is all allowable as a deduction. The Income Tax Tribunal said yes, it is allowable. The government of India got annoyed. Another person said that look, there is another group of companies where they have to make one night stop before they reach places like Assam. Like for example, if somebody has to travel from Chennai to Assam, so they have to stay in Calcutta and take the next day morning flight. So they go and stay in a place known as a transit flat. So he called it as a transit flat expenditure, and therefore he said that is not guest house expenditure, and therefore it is tax deductible. So the government of India got annoyed and they said guest house expenditure by whatever name you call is not tax deductible. So this was the law for a long time. And then finally the law got now abolished.
Oh, it's abolished now.
Abolished. But you got to try. See, what I'm saying is, please understand one thing. In the COVID times we have seen, in America also, for example, during the COVID period, Mr. Trump, he gave $1,000 as from the tax as a tax refund to all the taxpayers in America. The idea is to put money in the individual hands,
so that they can spend.
So they again buy some consumer goods or anything, spend, and the economy will thrive. So it is always the policy of every government that to put money in the individual's hands. Now the new president says he is going to put $2,000 in everybody's hands. Mr. Biden has said that he is going to put $2,000 in everybody's hands. So therefore, the whole thing is like that. So anything is, the moral of the story is, tax saved is money earned.
Absolutely.
Tax saved is money earned. So therefore, there is no need to be apologetic about tax. Now I will tell you the latest story about Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin Tendulkar. See, there was a law, there was a section under the Income Tax Act which said that look, if you are getting the income by an artist, if he is an artist and if he gets an income, then 50% of the remuneration is tax deductible. Now, Sachin Tendulkar in 2005, 6 and 7, he got income from, from the sponsorship. So advertisements, things and all that, he acted, and he got roughly about 6 crores or something, which is, so he claimed a 50% deduction. But if he's a sportsman, he will not get the deduction, but he claimed it as an artist. So Income Tax Department did not agree. But recently, almost about 15 days ago, the tribunal said, yes, he got that sponsorship only because of his acting. He may be a professional cricketer, but because of his artistic talent only, he got this, and therefore we give that relief to him.
Which is very, very...
So it is some sort of, basically you have to understand that, look, you have to try anything once in income tax. And income tax litigation is a very, very pittance. You don't have to be apologetic. You can even pay the tax and still litigate, because that doesn't matter.
Get a refund after that.
Yeah, the refund will come. So now the government also has changed a lot of things. So to avoid corruption and all that, now they come out with a faceless assessment. You don't have to go to income tax and meet people, etc. and all that. So now you can do everything online, and everything is now almost streamlined. But income tax is very, very creative, and I would say it can energize people.
Yeah, but Mr. Ramanujam, people don't understand that they only pay tax on income when there is income. So you don't pay tax when you don't have income. So when you have income, you are only paying that 30% tax. So you still have that 60% or 66% of your this thing if you're paying 33%. So that 66% of your earnings can be used to do anything you want.
Correct.
And that can multiply. So your capital will not be taxed. It's only what you earn out of that, only that part will be taxed again. But people always feel that they must hoard money and they must actually put it aside and they must make it black so that they feel the thrill of that black. But believe me, when you have black money, easy come, easy go. That is the problem. What is your message to them?
Exactly. You don't have to do anything. Like for example, today, the stock market index is 50,000. Okay, people who have invested just 1 month ago, they have hit the jackpot. Every share. See, for example, I have been told 1 month ago, buy ITC shares. It was selling at 142 rupees. A friend of mine said, I am investing 10,000 shares. Now today, the ITC share is 222 rupees.
It's really
It is such a thing. It gives so much of easy money you can get, provided you are clever and you are investing and you take the proper advice and proper care, diligence. So therefore, there is no need to be apologetic. See, making money, you don't have to be apologetic, because once you earn money, yes, and only when you sell, you are going to pay the tax. You can accumulate. If you don't need money, you can accumulate. Absolutely. See, today Mr. Premji or Mr. Nandan Nelankani or even many other people, including you, madam, all of you do charity because of your wealth. See, like for example, you give your shares. Nandan Nelankani given his shares to your trust, charitable trust. Mr. Narayan Murthy has given his shares. Premji has given his shares to a charitable Premji investment, Premji this thing, Ajit Premji trust. So therefore, that is used. So therefore, the shares have got a huge value. It is always going up and up. So therefore, you don't have to do anything. Just be alert and take wise counsel. The wise counsel is always very important. You don't have to do anything, and you don't have to fudge your books. But the thing is, yes, please remember, the Income Tax Department also has now changed its outlook. They are giving a lot of certificates. For example, my wife gets a bronze certificate for filing the income tax return correctly. I get a silver certificate because I get a slightly higher income. And there is a certificate for gold and there is a certificate for platinum. One of the top cricketers from Karnataka, he gets a platinum. A friend of mine, chartered accountant, is filing his return because his father is an army officer. He has told the auditor, I don't care. I have served the country and I want my son also to be very honest. he should get the maximum recognition from everything. So the minute he gets any income as a cricketing professional, he pays the tax immediately without waiting for anything. And he gets a platinum certificate from the government of India. Highest award. I would say even that can be equivalent to Bharat Ratna if he gets a platinum every year. In fact, that is how people are motivated. I always, whenever I correspond with the government officials, I say, very proudly I say, I am a silver certificate recipient from the government of India for taxpayers, as a taxpayer. I read that. So that gives you a lot of privilege and this thing for me.
Yes, I think one has to be very patriotic, because if you want good roads, you want to have clean water, and then you want to have the pollution free, and you want to see that the overbridge and all the trains and everything are sort of maintained well. It has to come from our taxes. Maybe direct taxes, income tax, maybe 3 to 5% are going to be paying. But from indirect taxes, you're going to get, everyone is actually included in the indirect taxes. So to go on cribbing, I think India has one of the finest taxation systems compared to the other governments, like for example Canada or US. They have a very, very high tax systems. So if Canada, they have to pay something like 40, 50% or 60% tax. But then they get the health care free, etc. But imagine if you're going to go and actually squeeze the 3% again and again and again. I think that becomes a big difficulty. What do you think about transactional tax? Do you think transaction tax?
Transaction tax.
Yeah, rather doing away with income tax and then bringing it as a transaction tax so that everyone gets the tax distributed.
See, basically it will be very difficult to administer. See, today in income tax, we have some standard, the revenue. See, basically the biggest expenditure for the government of India is salaries to the government employees, salary to armed forces, salary to a lot of people. So that almost consumes in the state government level 40% of the total budget revenue. So they should have monthly salaries. How do we get the revenue? Now the point of the issue is, even this GST, with almost 30 states in the country, it is very difficult, because if a person sells his goods here and he has to give an invoice and it has to be matched with a person who is buying the goods in Punjab.
How do you do it?
That is a system which has been developed by Infosys and TCS, and that has got some teething trouble and all that, but still it is being done. It is one of the biggest things which has happened, which is a very great wonder. Similarly, 26 AS, which is the income tax return, which income tax data is captured by the income tax department. All your big transactions are captured in the 26 AS. You cannot hide. You cannot hide anything. So everything, all your deals are captured there. So therefore, that is again one of the digital exercise which we have excelled. In fact, we can be very proud of this action by the government of India. Because where for such a big country, with a huge population, we are able to have a idea about what is the transaction taking place, etc. So therefore, it is a very a lot of things are happening. It will take some more time basically to streamline. But transaction tax per se will be a additional next step where we have to have a huge leap.
Don't you think that will be a game changer?
Maybe, but it's a huge thing. Huge leap we should have.
But don't you think that the public must be mature enough to get into the transaction?
See, but basically, as I told you, the tendency of the basically the people in India, unfortunately, is, see, we have been taught wrong things in the beginning. Okay, see, basically because we started with as a highly taxed nation. When I was in Sarabais in 1980s, the tax rates, including wealth tax, estate duty and all that, it was going up to 97%. So in my Sarabhai employer, when I went there, they told very clearly, we have 1,400 trusts. We have 63 partnership firms. We have 300 private limited companies, 2 public limited companies. Biggest department in the company is a tax department. Normally we will say production is very important. But in Sarabhai's, the biggest department was the tax. So everybody has to handle 100 companies, 100 assessees. If you don't go to income tax department, the income tax officer will not have a job. So first day when I walked in, they said, here are your set of Palkhivala books. Not a paisa more, not a paisa less to the tax department. If you have knowledge, take every case to Supreme Court. Mr. Palkhivala will come and fight the case for us. So that is how I have been trained to look at everything in terms of law, legal nuances. So I can only look at law. I cannot think of anything else. The law. The law is very humorous. See, you don't have to assume things. For example, you have built up a business, hospital, chain. There is something called goodwill. Now, the goodwill is self-generated because you have been rendering a quality service year after year. And everybody knows you by name, everybody knows you by face, everybody knows that if we go to this particular nursing home or clinic or hospital, we can get this type of facilities, which will be very helpful to us. So you build up a goodwill over the years. Now, assume that you are selling that business with the goodwill. So, now how do we tax this? Let us say you have sold your business for 100 crores along with the goodwill. So, the income tax department says the entire thing you have to pay capital gains tax because you have sold shares. So, you say that look, this also includes my goodwill, which is self-generated by rendering a uniform service year after year.
Absolutely.
So, that should not be taxed. So, income tax department says what is the cost, what is the value you are attributing. So, the entire thing is service industry. I am a doctor. If I am not well, I cannot do service. So, the entire thing, 100 crores is nothing but goodwill. I have some plant and machinery and all that, but that apart, that's all negligible. But the entire thing is goodwill. So, self-generated goodwill, when it is transferred, should not be taxed.
But does that fly with the government?
No, wait. Once it was argued, so the Supreme Court said that look, the income tax department argued in that case that should be taxed. The Supreme Court said that look, there is a provision called capital gains, how to compute income under the head capital gains. So what is the formula given? Sale price received minus cost is the profit on which you have to pay tax. Let us say very simple way. Sale price we know, how much is the other person paying. Then the cost. What is the cost of goodwill? So income tax department said, if there is no cost, it is zero. The court said no, Supreme Court said no. If there is no cost, it means it is incapable of identifying what is the cost. If you cannot identify exactly what is the cost of a goodwill, then you cannot tax it. No cost, no capital gain.
Oh.
So they argued. The income tax department said no cost means zero cost. No. The Supreme Court said no.
Okay.
If it is no cost, it means it is incapable of being evaluated. And therefore, no cost, no capital gains. That was the formula which was given. Now, immediately, the bus route permit. Let us say the Sharma transport. It is every day the buses are going to Chennai. Now, the Sharma transport people, let us say we want to sell the bus route permit because it is a permit. Permit is transferable. So I transfer it to somebody else. Now, he also argued that it is a route. It is a permission license to operate. It did not cost me anything. I acquired it long ago. Now I am selling it. No cost, no capital gains. Then another person said, I am a tenant in this house for last 40 years. Now the landlord says you vacate. So finally I have decided to vacate. But I said, you give me compensation. So he is paid compensation for vacating. So he said, I have transferred my tenancy right. It did not cost me anything. No cost, no capital gains.
So that was goodwill.
So
That was goodwill.
So therefore, like that. Now, for example, now we can go on multiplying examples like that. So they all tried it. Now the government of India has amended the law. Wherever you cannot identify, the cost will be taken as zero.
So therefore that's gone now.
But yeah, it's all gone now. But see, as I told you, you have to try anything once. That is how the subject is so interesting and so fascinating. Even today we try, but we try openly.
So what is the law now?
Wherever there is no cost, it will be taken as zero, and therefore you have to pay tax.
The full tax.
Tax, of course, with all the concessions and all that. Whatever the benefit is given, indexation, etc.
Everything, and then you pay. In fact, what I feel is many of the celebrities and all that, and there's another very interesting question I want to put across to you. When these raids happen, then people say, oh God, it doesn't happen to me, it only happens to them. And then they'll say, I'm sitting quiet, pretty, I'm not going to get raided. But when will people realize that, even if that money that has been taken from them, it's not just the money seized, but the investigations can lead them to so many different things that a lot of things can be unearthed. And in the end, it's a lot of headache. It's a lot of headache. So, whatever is the amount, thinking that they're not going to be identified if they keep it here or there, some telltale signs will either be there in their computer, the mobile phone, or some kind of electronic gadget, etc., and they will find out. Or even if they don't find out, in somebody else's computer, if your name comes in, then they can come and reach you. So what is your message to the viewers as far as these raids are concerned, and how can you avoid these kind of raids?
See, it is like this. So long as, raids can happen in two ways. One, it can happen because of a rival's complaint against you. Okay, there are people who got certain, thoughts. They say, this person is growing like anything. Let us, give an anonymous complaint to the Income Tax Department. Please remember, when you give an information to the Income Tax Department, and suppose the Income Tax Department collects taxes, you can be an informer to the Income Tax Department, and you can get a tax-free reward also, which they rarely give. That is a different matter. But the point at issue is, you can be an informer to the Income Tax Department, and you will get a tax-free reward. So therefore, people, just try to spike the other person. They can create a problem for you. Okay, that is one situation. The second situation is, really you have been dishonest. You thought that you will get away with murder because of your various other political contacts and other things. But, everything cannot be the same. Even we have seen ministers and, finance minister, former finance minister, everybody is a dock because of so many things, etc. and all that. But these are all investigations which will take a long time to end. But the point at issue is, once you are in a position, you are vulnerable. So I would request all the people, once you higher and higher position, be clean as much as possible. Okay, do not be anything which is even slightly, can give discomfort to anybody. I want you to maintain a level. That is a very, very important thing, because this is a message which all of us should have. So we should not get caught. Your professional reputation is very, very important than anything else. Money can come, money can go. See, we are not interested in, fly by night. We are not like a fly by night operator. We want to have a long-standing thing. As I told you, the idea is to build up goodwill of long-standing, which will help people, generations, etc. Now, today you take, for example, just to name, Infosys versus TCS. TCS is 3 times or 4 times bigger than Infosys in all parameters. But Infosys carved out a name as the, some sort of example for a software industry. because of their, basically they started allowing people, including employees, the stock option, including drivers, the stock option, and every driver became a millionaire. So that was a very important thing which was told to the whole entire world, which unfortunately TCS lagged behind. So Infosys, captured the attention of everybody. And therefore, the point at issue is, once you take care of one of your image, which is a very, very important thing, which is, groomed or rather which is cultivated over a period of time, I think, the sky is the limit and you can command your thing. Now, as far as the raids are concerned, the raids can happen in many ways. I will give you a very example which I faced in my earlier Kothari days. We had a company called Kothari Electronics. That company is no longer there. It was a listed company, and the company was manufacturing capacitors, electric component, which goes to fan, a ceiling fan and all that. It's a small square type of thing. It's called capacitors. We changed the clearing and forwarding agent because we are importing something, and we changed the clearing and forwarding agent and went into another clearing and forwarding agent. Appointed another clearing and forwarding because we import a lot of things. So from the port, Madras seaport, we import a lot of things, and we had to have the clearing and forwarding agent to clear the goods from customs. We changed one person to another. That fellow complained. He said, these people are importing goods and big machineries and availing concessions which are available to electronic industry, which was at the time the government wanted to promote the electronic industry. But actually these people are only manufacturing electrical items. So there was a raid. So huge demand was raised, and the charge sheet was 1,000 pages.
So how long did this case last?
So it case, actually it happened for 3 years. Okay, it continued for 3 years. Point is, I got involved. So after we got some reprieve, we went to the High Court and got a stay. And then how to tackle this? I consulted one of my relatives who retired as the honest customs collector. He said, Ramanujam, the present customs collector is a very, very honest person. You go and convince that you have not done anything wrong. He will give you relief. So we said, okay. So our team thought that the crux of the issue is, what is the difference between electronics and electrical? Look at this, please understand. You ask anybody whether anybody can define what is the difference between electronics and electrical. Here is the Department of Revenue is saying, that Customs Department is saying that you have imported goods which are used for electrical items, but you wrongly availed the customs concession available for electronic industry. So somebody should distinguish between electronics and electrical. So what do we do? So we said, okay, let us go to IIT professor and collect a certificate. So myself, my chairman at the time, Mr. Shyam Kothari, who is the son-in-law of Dhirubhai Ambani, and another technical person, all the three went to IIT Madras. We went to the Department of Electronics and told the professor, sir, please give us a certificate distinguishing between electronics and electrical. Very mundane thing. He looked at us and said, sorry, I cannot give.
Why?
So why? He said, Customs Department has already approached me and we have formed a committee and we have given a confidential report to them, so I cannot share it with you.
Oh my God.
So it was a shock to us. So with very crestfallen, we were coming back from the electronics department, and IIT Madras, if you have seen, it's a very huge place. So car was parked differently, so we were coming. When I was coming, I went and dashed against another person walking in the opposite side. And that was my distant relative, who was also a professor in IIT.
Oh, okay.
He said, Ramanujam, what have you come? So I immediately introduced, sir, he's the son-in-law of Dhirubhai Ambani, Mr. Shyam Kothari, and we got this problem. He said, forget about the electronic department. I will take you to another department, professor, who will give you the certificate. So there is some other department known as a telemetry. That professor is also more knowledgeable. We went to him and told him, sir, this is the problem. He said, don't worry, I was not in the committee. I am free to give you opinion. But you have to get me 2 foreign books. So immediately we called somebody to import 2 foreign books, electronic books, 5,000 rupees. We went and gave it to him, and he gave a beautiful certificate, the difference between electronics and electrical, which even today I do not know, because it was all Greek and Latin for me. So he gave a certificate. Then we didn't want to leave it further. We flew down to Bangalore from Chennai. We went to the managing director of Bharat Electronics, Padma Shri Dr. C.R. Subramanian, another Padma Shri recipient like you. So we went to him and told him, sir, please give us a certificate. He gave a certificate. With that both certificate, we went and presented to the customs collector and told him, sir, the end use of a product cannot determine the character of the product. We can put capacitor in the sleeping bed. That doesn't mean that it is cotton. See, you have to see what is the nature. I have not cheated anybody. I got an industrial license to, it is called Kothari Electronics Company. I am importing goods after taking the permission from the government of India. This is a motivated complaint. You should ignore it. We presented, and that time we hesitated and all that. We made a presentation to the customs collector, and he deleted the whole thing. Which is very good. So, according to me, raids are sometimes motivated. Sometimes you get caught because you have been dishonest. So, therefore, the point of the issue is there is no point in doing all these things. Now, today, the law is very, very friendly, and you don't have to be, do any fudging or anything of the sort.
That's true. So I think, so your success mantra is be honest, truthful, transparent, and you can sleep happily at night without having the fear of a raid anytime at night. Is that right? So I think, Mr. Ramanujam, that has been an exhaustive interview for both of us, and I'm sure my viewers would have learnt a lot about taxation laws and all the case laws that you've put across, and I would like you to speak to them, and what would your success mantra and your views for them to take back home and change their mindset, your views to the audience.
It is like this. The life teaches you a lot of experiences. You have to have, take everything in your side. There is a hard option, there is a soft option. Sometimes you have to take hard option also. I will give you an instance. A friend of mine, he had a son who got admission in USA. He's a very good student. But finally, the US admission came out with a caveat. It said, once you pass, give you a pass certificate in the final examination in the Indian university and send it to us, we will give you the admission. Fine. Unfortunately, he was a student of a college in Madras University, and in one subject he got 30 marks and he failed. The boy was crying, and his mother was suffering from cancer, and the father did not have much of income. So what do you do? So this was a dilemma. The boy was saying that, look, I have done very well in the examination, but still I have been declared as failed. So what do you do? So he said, okay, there is only one option left. We will file a writ petition in the Madras High Court. So he took a hard option. He filed a case. It is Santosh Kumar versus University of Madras. Case reported. So now what happened in this case? The Madras University said that, look, we have done a retotaling and sorry, it cannot happen, we cannot do anything else, everything is incorrect. But the judge said, look, let us make an exception to this case. this boy has got a very wonderful marks in all the other subjects. There should be something wrong here. So get the paper and I will get it evaluated to two other teachers, professors. So the paper was taken and given to two other professors, and two other professors evaluated the boy, and one professor gave 85% mark, other person gave 78 marks, and the boy flew with, got through with the flying colors. An average was taken and he was declared as success, and he got admission in US and his mother died here. So sometimes I always tell people that look, there is no need to be apologetic every time. Sometimes if you have to fight, you fight. Hard option is required. Hard option has to be taken. There's no need for anything to be apologetic. Similarly, you can also understand coincidences can happen many times. Okay, very many times. A colleague of mine in UB group, his daughter wrote the CA examination, declared failed in one paper at 30% mark. So she immediately applied for retotaling, and at the same time paid the fees for the next examination, because arrears you can write next time. So she paid and she started studying. She finally, after 1 month, the message came that she got 42% mark.
And that is pass, is it?
Yeah, pass. So they refunded the money. So the younger brother, he also wrote the CA examination, intermediate, and then he was also declared failed in one paper, and then he applied for retotaling and again paid the fees for the next examination to write the arrears, but then again he also got passed. So I always say coincidences always happen in life. So don't have to think that coincidence will not happen in the same family, etc. All things are very positive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramanujam. I think you've really given me almost a panoramic view, what with tax and raids and Vijay Mallya. I think this is a bonanza of knowledge that our viewers have got, and I feel that today that the viewers are going to be excited about this. So dear viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this masterclass. Until next time with another new guest for our next masterclass. See you soon.
Hi, this is Vani Ganapathy. I've just finished a beautiful chat session with Dr. Kamini Rao on masterclass. She took me down memory lane, nostalgic memories. Thank you.